So naturally, as a video maker, my goal is to give you guys the best perspective of the fish room. I try to give you guys the best angles, the best views to make my fish look awesome, to make my aquascapes pop. And basically, I show you guys what I want you to see. There are certain things in the fish room that I purposely leave out. There are certain things you don't see. And today I want to change things up. I'm going to go ahead and expose the fish room. Everything that I normally wouldn't show, I'm going to go ahead and show it just because I want this to be a just honest fish room. I like to give you guys the best view, but it's best if I give you guys the true view because I don't want somebody else to expose me. So I'm just going to go ahead and expose myself today. So yeah, everyone, I want this fish room to be as transparent as possible. All you guys are awesome, and I think it's best if you know the truth about my fish room. So first off, I want to talk about the cosmetics of the actual basement. The tanks, I try my best to keep up with them, but I'm honestly not doing so well keeping up with the overall room. And that counts. If I want a perfect fish room, not only the tanks matter, but the room that they're in. So 2 weeks ago, I gave you guys a fish room update, showing you guys each tank. Got a lot of compliments, but I'm not sure if you noticed, I gave you guys a walkthrough of the house, the fish room. So, come in here. So first off, right there is the 210. That's in my office, but we're gonna get back to that later on. Come over here, swing around here. You have the kitchen, back hallway. Come down here, and finally, we have ourselves the fish room. I stopped in the back hallway, and I didn't want to come down. The main reason why I didn't want to come down is because the first thing you see is this right here, this giant hole in the floor. So under the floor, this is towel, but on top of the towel, I have this fake little wooden type of pattern. I forgot what it's actually called, but you can see it gets glued down. And yeah, I got this hole in the floor, another one right there, another one over there. And that's because a year ago, I bought this dog, Juno, the Newfoundland, who was just a puppy. And he used to stay down here, and he just tore up the place. He ripped open floors and did a lot of damage, and I just never got to fixing it. So that's actually my fault. He was a puppy, and I should have repaired it a long time ago, and I didn't. So I have these holes in the floor. So the main reason why you never see me making fish room updates coming straight down is because I'm embarrassed of this disgusting looking floor. And not just there's a couple of different slices. You can see right here, there's a slice in the floor, and it's because these tables, these containers, they have wheels, but they're heavy, so when I slide them across this floor, it rips up. So yeah, the floor isn't really in best condition. Along the same lines of cosmetics, the walls down here also could use a paint job. A lot of scratches, stains. Also, there's a few patches that I never painted over. So over here, there's a patch, a few patches. Even in the ceiling, if you look right here, that was just patched up, and you can see it's not even. So overall, when it comes to just the basement itself, definitely not the best condition. And you know, when it comes to fish room, the entire room matters. Of course, the focus is on the tanks, but you also pay attention to some of these other features. So that's one of the embarrassing things of the fish room. Then if we take a look over here at my 40-gallon reef aquarium, this is my only saltwater tank. You know, salt, it corrodes things, so I have water splashing every now and then. So you can see all these little salt spots are where water splashed up. The water was evaporated, but the salt, remains. And that salt is starting to deteriorate my wall back here. So you can see, well, not the wall, the paint. You can see the paint all, this just started to happen too. I just noticed it about 2 weeks ago. But yeah, the paint is being affected by the salt. And this is just because I just added this larger refugium. Before I had the smaller ones that really wasn't as much against the wall, but this is really pressed against the wall, and because of that I have this right here. And this could be dangerous because you can see the paint is chipping, and if that falls in the tank, who knows what kind of effect it's going to have on the tank, but most likely a negative effect. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually plant these mangroves outside because it is summer, and this is going to go. And then over here we have this door, and you can see right at the bottom it has that giant hole. Now this hole was intentional. I have a cat, and the litter stays in here. This is the laundry room, and the litter stays back there on the floor. So I put this hole in so that she could go in and so that the dogs wouldn't follow her, because the dogs will eat out the litter. So I put the hole there, but this door is so fragile that it created all these other cracks. I could have easily just covered it up or even replaced the door, but me being lazy, so now that's another thing. Now the majority of my videos are recorded on Tuesdays because that's my day off of work. And it also happens to be the day when I do laundry, so a lot of times I try to avoid this little section over here because I have clothes hanging up, which is blocking my 125. So yeah, that's another thing that a lot of times I'm dipping and dodging. If you wonder why a lot of times I get this tank on side angles, it's because I'm trying to avoid the laundry that's hanging up. Now the things I just listed, they're all cosmetic issues, so they're not really incredibly important, but they do all add up when it comes to making a perfect fish room. But there are some other things that are beyond cosmetics, things that are a little bit more important, and that's with my actual aquariums. So first off, we have this 75-gallon native aquarium, and I must say that the filtration on this tank, even though the water is pretty clear, the filtration isn't really adequate for this size tank. So I have an Aqua Clear 75, and this is a 75-gallon aquarium that runs 75 gallons per hour. You know, you always want to overdo it, so I'm really at bare minimum when it comes to filtration. So yeah, this tank really not as filtered as it should be. And surprisingly, the same thing is with my 350-gallon aquarium. So when we take off the lid, and these lids have a ton of algae, I gotta start cleaning these. But yeah, take off the lid, look at that water movement. Looks like a river, and I love that. This really keeps the tank looking healthy. It really keeps the water circulated. But this is not from filtration. This is from this power head over here. So I'm going to go ahead and plug out the power head. There's quite a difference. You can see that the water is pretty still. There's a little bit of movement back there in the back. But for these fish that are as big as they are, you definitely want more movement than this. And the main reason is not because my pump is weak. My pump is pretty strong, but my output, the amount of water being able to drain to keep up with the pump, that's not enough. So I have this one little overflow box right here, and this is not enough draining water to match the water that refills the tank. So I have this ball valve to be able to slow down the pressure of my pump. So that's another thing that I'm not really proud of in this fish room. I try to disguise it, make it seem like I do have a great setup when it comes to filtration, but it definitely can be improved. And the way to improve it will be to add maybe another one or a bigger overflow box. That way I could get some more rotations, gallons per hour. Same thing with this thing. You can see it's pretty still when it comes to that surface agitation. Look at the pressure coming out. Definitely not a lot. And you know, the more you have, the better. Now I'm not saying that the filtration on these tanks is bad. You can obviously see that the water is clear enough. There are some small particles, and more so in this tank because these fish are so big they stir around. This tank, these tanks share the same water. You can see, don't get distracted by the dots in the background, but this water is pretty clear. So the water is clear, the fish are healthy, so it's not like a bad case of filtration as far as not being able to keep up with the tank, but no doubt I could do a lot better. Okay everyone, and there's one more thing I want to show you guys. So you may notice that there's not really a lot of chemicals or equipment for my tanks in plain sight. Where do I keep all my stuff? And this is kind of embarrassing because I'm very unorganized. We have food and stuff is right here. I have this box, you can see it's completely unorganized. Just random things stacked on top of each other. This is Mask for the Light, Epsom salt, Prazipro for internal parasites, so plant food, so really unorganized. And then when you come back here, same thing, just a pile of PVC pipe, plant food, chemicals, nets. So when it comes to my supplies and stuff, my chemicals, that stuff is pretty unorganized. Same thing with all my other supplies. You can see I have my salt, filter pads, RODI water unit. Yeah, it's just a bit of a mess. Come over here to the last place of storage, and it's just real confusing. So I have an LED light in there. I have another LED back there. And that container, that styrofoam box, I have gravel, I have rocks, so that's another one of my issues. I do have some problems when it comes to organization. So yeah everyone, with my videos, I show you guys what I want you to see, but just now I showed you guys the things that I normally don't want you to see, because I want this to be an honest fish room. I want you guys to actually know what's going on down here, just in case one of you guys happen to stumble across this fish room in person. Definitely don't want you guys to be disappointed. So yeah, everyone, this has been a look at some of the things that need to be fixed, some of the things that need to be upgraded, and some of the imperfections of this fish room. So yeah, everyone, that's the video for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you guys saw my intentions. But yeah, everyone, that's another day in the fish room, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.